to say the least, going up against one of our fan favorites, the Canadian in the Northeast, the red Zerg player. She is Scarlett.
And my eyes really are on what is Scarlett's approach to this matchup. Is she going in with a preset game plan and an idea of how Inno is going to play and countering it? Is she going to play very greedy, very aggressive? You know, what exactly is going to be the twist on it? And I mean, I guess there's a bit of a question about that for INnoVation, but usually whenever in doubt, I assume some of the most stock standard play executed to perfection from this Terran player.
Yeah, the interesting thing I think comes down to Scarlett is a dangerous player, right? Scarlett can play macro games. You know, you've kind of talked about it. You know, we can see her run away with early drone economy if you're playing against somebody who's going to be a little bit passive and allowing that to happen. But one of the things about Scarlett is that she will throw in those aggressive builds. She will throw in the cheese. She's not afraid to try and go for a quick kill if the window of opportunity presents itself as such. And of course, those are also great opportunities to throw games. So against an opponent like INnoVation, you really got to hedge your bets about how much you think you can actually get away with, as that Reaper is going to pop out and head across the map to scout. But we also know that if INnoVation is, it can be a player who does some things like mech and whatnot, or battle cruisers, then Scarlett does like to play some pretty frustrating styles if you let her just kind of do whatever she wants.
Oh yeah, she's abusive. Yeah, Scarlett is one of these players who, I mean, she's not Rogue levels of brutal, because I don't think anyone out there makes Zerg look unfair the way Rogue does. If Rogue gets his way, if Rogue gets an edge, he makes it look like there was never even a chance in the match, like it was the most one-sided thing. But Scarlett, like you said, if she's given a fair bit of room, she can do the same stuff. Like, she will really find some abusive compositions. She'll really work those advantages to the extreme. Now, I like the way she sent these 4 Zerglings across the map. I feel if you get a chance to do that, it's never a bad idea. You can go in and just kind of deny a little bit of mining, sometimes pick off a Marine or so, but Inno's quite well prepared. He's just going to bring back the Reaper and start to clean these Zerglings up, so no real damage. And unfortunately, she doesn't block the factory swapping over. So yeah, I was surprised she didn't go up the ramp a little earlier, but Inno handling this perfectly.
Yeah, well done. And sometimes you get into weird stuff with the Lings on in your base, right? When, like, if your Reaper is just a little bit too aggressive, if you're trying to force the issue at that third base too much, you've got a decent number of things to keep your eyes on. But one of the things I always like about watching INnoVation is he's got very clean play. Regardless of what kind of builds he does, he's not going to show you the fanciest or flashiest macro. But INnoVation is not the guy that we're going to see usually get stock at, you know, 120 supply or something like that. Like, he's generally got a good flow to his build orders. There's always some sort of plan that you can see laid out, and I like this Hellion Raven opening a lot. I think as Terran players improve their control, some are still getting used to that speed buff of that Raven when it comes to keeping them with the Hellions, but the amount of pressure that you can get done with this is really nice. You can delay a lot of that creep spread, and even if you don't want to go mech, it's so important, I think, to still always open with Hellions in this matchup, just because of that ability to try and slow down the creep spread, get a little bit of that map control. If you don't get overwhelmed by Lings, these Hellions should never die, right? Until you get something like Mutas out on the map.
Absolutely agree. I think the Hellions' ability here to just keep clearing creep nonstop is good, because this is a way of maintaining a constant pressure, right? Just by zoning around the edges, you're picking off tumors, you're always doing something without it just being one big timing. And I think if you do one big thing, Scarlett shuts it down. That's where she can run away with the game. But if you're able to just poke around the edges and just keep forcing interaction, it's really hard for anybody to keep up with INnoVation. And it's a great way of just keeping Scarlett off balance here. It's going to really allow him to set up for his future pushes. So what this lacks is the ability to do one sharp punch. Auto turrets nowhere near the power of a battle cruiser, a liberator, a few cloaked banshees coming in. But it's all about just light pressure, and we've got a clean follow-up behind it with the 3rd command center done, double engineering bay, double barracks. So Inno going to be playing a bio style.
I love this. This is actually really cool to see. I've been wanting to see more good players do this, and you get to see the benefits just so well that you're not burning scans. The Zerg player is kind of limited to how far the creep can actually go at the moment, can really only go as far as the Hellions aren't willing to head. So past those rocks is always going to be tricky. And past any bases you haven't taken is going to be tricky. The Hellions head home because INnoVation wants to take that third base. But that's just another benefit of opening like this. While all the barracks are still building, while the reactors are finishing, while all of that bio power up is still, you know, powering up. No more elegant way to put it. The Hellions can protect the third base as it lands. So there's a lot of value generated just by not throwing these things away. And then Big Daddy Raven's going to help these Marines push the Overseer out of that perv spot by the natural.
Indeed. A nice setup for that. And that double medevac Marine pressure getting ready. And it's already with Widow Mines rallying out of a reacted factory. This is one of the hardest styles to play against, I feel, with what Scarlett's doing. Because, you know, the just Widow Mine count proliferates so quickly. You're also already behind a full minute in upgrades. Yeah, you got quick Bane speed, you got some nice creep spread. Oh, wait, no, you don't. The Raven keeps getting rid of that creep spread so quickly.
Beautiful.
The Queens,
I love it.
They would have had so much transfuse energy by now, but look at this. They're running dry.
This is just one of those things that we will probably see more and more eventually from Terran players as good players show the value that this can bring. And that armory is still about 20 seconds from finishing, so we won't see Hellbats per se. But, oh, that one Widow Mine had a chance to really make his dreams come true. The Hellions catch a Queen, and that's the other thing. If any of the Queens isolate themselves like that, you could just slam down a few auto turrets, and you're going to be able to deal some damage. Even then, those Mutas kind of forced away from the Hellions by the auto turrets. Of course, the Raven is finally done, but I'd say a job well done as well. Gets a Queen on the way out, too. Nice exit frag.
Yeah, only 5 Queens out now. The Muta's getting the Raven's really important, though, actually, right? If that stayed there with the bio, it would have been surviving for a lot longer. And it's such a good renewable resource.
Oh, brutal. Absolutely devastating.
Damn,
Well, it doesn't get much
4
worse
Mutas
than
going
that.
down.
Doesn't get much worse than this, Pig. Scarlett lacking creep spread, lacking that... well, I guess the fourth base did get set up reasonably well, but lacking that map control. The bio is still out there a little bit. There's not a rush to build a bunch of turrets because Scarlett has already lost four Mutalisks. There weren't a tremendously large number to begin with, but it's supposed to be a snowball composition.
Well, she is pushing her greed quite well, and that's important because INnoVation actually cut production for a little while. He's gone very quick 4th command center that's already finishing, straight up to 8 barracks, and he's got the 2nd factory. So going up to just that 4 base Biomine Thor parade, and Scarlett needs a big economy to deal with that. Thankfully, she's been over 80 workers for a little bit here. Can't take too many of those Widow Mines hurt. She's got to be careful here. Those Hellions still alive. INnoVation has just lost so few units. He's lost 6 units in this entire game. Scarlett has lost 72.
Man, this is like, I dream about this stuff. When I see these Zerg players that use so many Lings and so many Banes, and I'm like, man, it would be really nice to see a Terran player who can like effectively utilize Hellions and Hellbats with these comps, and that's what we've got in this game out of INnoVation. Do I think he can attack into this? Survey says doubt. That's a lot of Banelings, but some of them are starting to splinter off for the harass, so maybe an opportunity will present itself in the near future. But that's a pretty big position to try to push into on creep, I think.
Well, 10 Banelings shut down, and they managed to tickle a command center and take down 1 Marine. But on the front, Scarlett looks for the roll. Can she get on? Widow Mines firing very effectively. A few Banelings left over, but the Marauder soaks most of those up. INnoVation has to turn tail and run, but as long as he keeps these units alive and holds position here, it is a win for him.
Beautiful target fire on the Banelings. The Lings get cleaned up effortlessly by the rest of these forces because INnoVation has that 2-2. Pig, he's got that double upgrade advantage. The Zerglings on their own are completely worthless against this army without all those upgrades to give them that power boost. He instead finds that this push is going to be able to do a lot of damage, and now Scarlett has to get on the defensive in a big way, but I love the wear in the Widow Mines too, chipping away at the counterattack potential as well.
Yeah, this push now looks so scary. The Thor and the Marauders spread up front, trying to tank as much as they can. The Marines spread back. The Widow Mines fire. No big Widow Mine hits, but I think still a nasty trade there. INnoVation is massively up, and he manages to crack Scarlett there. in a rather decisive Game 1 victory.
I mean, if you lay down a game plan, if you're like, I'm going to write down what I want to do. I was like, let's do Reaper opener, check. Hellions, check. Raven, creep spread gone, check. It's like, what else did I have to do this game? Fast fourth, okay, no problem. Oh, kill all the Mutalisks with 2 Widow Mines. Like every single thing that you could have put in a game plan there for INnoVation just went perfectly, right? Everything went according to plan. He did everything that he wanted to do, and it all worked. The Hellions bullied the Lings. The Raven bullied the Queens, got insane value, even when it was past the point of saving. Still got like the extra 2 Queens that were down that ramp, killed the Queen that was injecting at that 3rd base as the auto turrets expired, and pushed the Mutas away from the Hellions so they could go back and join that bio. Like every single thing literally went about as well as it possibly could have for INnoVation in that first game.
Yeah, it was lining up so nicely, wasn't it? Even those 4 Zerglings went in and they like damaged an SCV. It was like, oh, okay, that didn't really do anything to disrupt his build order at all. So some nice trades. I do feel like Scarlett was a little bit in the mode of, okay, cool, let's just defend this 4 base, and there's going to be like, you know, Inno's going to be in my face. But it was interesting to see Inno showed the pressure, right? The Raven Hellion, the Marines and Medevacs, but he didn't really commit at all. And he was like, no, 4th command center, 8 barracks, 2nd factory. And there was this explosion to the next stage where INnoVation just powered up. He said, oh, no, I'm actually not even committing just yet, but give me a minute and you're going to be dealing with like the biggest 4-base parade. The 2-2 timing, as you pointed out, he forced a brutal engagement there. Scarlett tried to chase him down and kind of finished putting herself in the ground there. But a decisive victory there with some straightforward play. The Raven twist, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, great first match. Let's see if our Canadian Zerg in the bottom left wearing red can bring this one back. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. Cheer for Scarlett.
And one of the most storied players, one of the most prolific champions in StarCraft 2. His name almost always bounces around in any conversation about the greatest of all time because his career has been so consistent over such an extended period. Up here in the top right, in the blue, representing Kaiser Gaming, it is INnoVation.
Ooh. Was that Kalaris? Kalaris just threw that one in, didn't he? He just, Kalaris is like, he spent this whole time. Like, this is what it's actually like to host events. Having done this, I'll tell you, it's like you just kind of sit there while all the games are playing and you're like, all right, I'm going to listen, you know, see if there's a good question to ask maybe. But Kalaris is spending his time building memes. He's like photoshopping us into like Homelander or some weird stuff while he's getting these custom audio files to play over us. And I like that. You know, I appreciate that. Somebody is finally trying to play spoiler to this broadcast more than me, which, well, that takes a load off my shoulders, Pig. So I just get to be lazy as usual instead.
It's nice, yeah. Adds a bit of flavor there. I mean, in this age of remote broadcasts, who knew that, you know,
do you have a request?
Just going to become meme creators.
You going to make your request, Pig? You going to request Kalaris to play an air horn? Is that what we're going? Oh, apparently he just played that to us, is what he's telling us. So nobody heard that. So people just think we're crazy now.
Oh,
but
really?
They already knew that. Everyone knew. We're both obviously crazy though. That's really not out of left field.
Yeah, that's not really too much of a revelation. I wouldn't mind non-stop vuvuzelas in the background, you know? Like that amazing
crowd
World
noise. Bumping the crowd noise. Get some vuvuzelas. Let's get the obnoxious fan cheers on. I'm down with that. It was as every time a unit dies, you just hear one vuvuzela horn. So like when a Widowmine hits like 15 lings, just like completely flares out. Some poor guy's watching this. He's like, I got like a $10,000 TV setup and you just blew my speakers out.
I can't wait, man. If we do remote broadcasts for long enough, you know, it's only a matter of time until we get something like Fear Dragon's chatbot, where it's like if the chat makes enough, you know, commands, it actually comes out as a crowd chant or a sound.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, that's really not a bad idea though for a tool to use. Like, I don't know. Real sports are doing it too, man. They're doing fake crowd noise. That's a thing now because if people are used to having it.
It's actually funny every time I'm watching any sport. I'm like, that's an interesting, you know, crowd sound they've added in. like, it's a bit weird, but I guess people are just used to it. They don't want it to be too much change for people. It would feel weird, I guess, at the silent stadium, but
do you think they pump in crowd noise of them yelling at the refs so that the refs feel like they're at home too? You know, like you gotta get all of it. Like you gotta have crowd noise for when specific things happen. So you gotta have like a bunch of people telling the refs to get off or whatever. And I'm just saying there's a lot of job opportunity here to build all of this out. All right, we're gonna be using it for a while.
Enough, you can hear them kind of just being like, "Run faster, you guys!" He's like the people at the sound system is literally spilling a beer down his gut as he's shouting at the athletes to run faster. Like,
so you know how my Sundays go then.
I have a bit of insight, Nate. I know what sort of man you are.
Can't wait. Can't wait till we all get to hang out again. I can show you my pickup truck, Pig. I'm very excited about that. We go tailgate. Be a good time.
Heck yeah.
Be a good time.
Can't wait to get back over there, mate. And well, turns out can't wait to get back to butchering the creep spread again. We're seeing Raven again.
I love it. Hey man, this build worked so well. There's no reason not to do the same thing again, in my opinion. And I'm gonna tell you what too. The other thing about this that I really like is, and this is going to sound really dumb, but in a hypothetical situation, if you're a Zerg player and you're thinking to yourself, oh, the Raven doesn't really have the same power of a Battlecruiser or Banshee. Hellions suck versus Roaches. If you were to try and just do a quick attack on someone like INnoVation or a Terran that you see doing this, auto turrets have punch versus units like the Roaches. And something else to consider as well that I've seen is people use the Dorito cannon on the Queens or like clumped Roaches when they see this. And those Hellions are going to do a pretty significant increase in damage when you peel all the armor off. You're going from like 7 damage per hit up to 10. And, those types of number stacks really do have a big impact as the game progresses forward. So that's obviously not a situation that we're going to see right now. But were it to happen, instead of the Hellions without Blue Flame 3-shotting Lings, you could actually 2-shot them. Like these are all just hypotheticals, of course. I don't think he's going to do a Dorito cannon here, but it's this build has a little bit more versatility than you might originally expect just off of it clearing creep.
Absolutely. Well, I think Scarlett's going to be really careful with her queens this time around. Make sure those don't get caught out like the last time. It's tempting to split your queens up, and that is if you're playing the more conservative late lair style. That's how you deal with this. You basically go to like 9-10 queens and you just make sure you've got 2 squads because they're never fast enough to keep up with the Hellions. You need to split them between the 2 paths, and that way you can stop them clearing the creep. But in this case, super fast mutas are out. And we're once again going to see a similar matchup, but it does feel just a bit more comfortable and smooth for Scarlett this time. I'm not sure exactly why, but just having the mutas out so early, I think she's going to have a lot more control over things. And, Inno is once again trying to power up to a very quick second factory. Not sure how quick that 4th command center is going to be because his marine count's still not really out of the map just yet, but these mutas already in his face. I mean, there's still an epic upgrade advantage for Inno, but he's got to defend.
Yeah, even like this little auto turret to help kind of push back the mutas from that 3rd base actually kills one of the mutalisks with the auto turret. But there's something that we talk about a lot in StarCraft, and a lot of these builds are on like the razor's edge, right? Very, 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 very sharp timings across the board out of professional StarCraft players too. So when you get into these situations where you're like, oh, the mutas come out about a minute or 30 seconds early, and you're like, was that really a big deal? Well, it really can be when a Terran player's build is designed around a specific moment where they're like, this is when mutas should be out, and this is when my Marines will be out in enough numbers to deal with them. So if you do get caught off guard by the Zerg squeezing those mutas out by delaying the evos or something, by even just the tiniest little smidge, sometimes that can do everything, right? Maybe the Hellions are still out on the map with the Raven, and then all of a sudden the Raven gets sniped. You're not expecting it. Then the Hellions go down, and you're like, well, now I've got Marines finishing, but I don't have anything to deal with the Ling flood at my 3rd. Things can get awkward really quickly. So good heads up play by INnoVation. Use the auto turret for the defense. The upgrades in this game are still starting to scare me though, Pig. It's giving me a little bit vibes similar to the last map. 2-2 is going to be finishing around the same time as 1-1 for Scarlett.
Yeah, I think in this sort of game, though, the creep spread advantage is actually quite huge for Scarlett, right? The fact that she's had so much creep out is really important. Look at how far it is on this far north of the map. I mean, she's going to be able to delay a push a long time. And I think with this style, you want to do a lot of backstabbing, right? There's going to be these moments where Inno pushes out when he knows he has the upgrade advantage. And it's your job as the Zerg to backstab, counterattack, and do all these things, which they might not look like they're amazing individually, but all you need to do is buy yourself an extra minute, bam, the upgrades are even again, and you've negated his advantage. So you've got to be a little bit more tricky with your movement as the Zerg. You can't just fight into this front on when the Terran presents himself. And I think Scarlett, she's well set up. She's got a lot of lings going down the right, and they run into the Hellions. You're kidding me.
Oh, the Hellion retention, man. Hellion retention is big. So many Zerg players rely so heavily on having these big squads running around the map. The Raven picked off with full energy definitely hurts. Man, I won't lie. I've killed a stupid number of them using that Dorito cannon when they're around turrets, because the turrets they attack twice. They attack twice, big. It's actually not bad to use the armor shredder against those mutalisks too. But that does give that nice bit of map control coming back in the favor of Scarlett. And as you said, with those, even though those Hellions and the Raven were able to stay alive for so long, the creep spread has been able to really flourish for Scarlett, and that means it's going to be progressively more difficult for INnoVation to get across the map. Everdream kind of known for that struggle of getting across, clearing all that creep. It's not going to be easy in the slightest.
Oh, Scarlett finds an army up here on its own. That's a bit of a mistake here from Inno. Thor goes down. Marines are going to go down as well. Wow. Inno's going to push the south side. He's got to make something of this. A big run die is going to hit his 4th command center. This is about to get real scrappy. There's no Banelings at home right now for Scarlett.
Ooh, the Widow Mine does detonate on the Lings, but the Banelings are going to go all the way around this command center to make sure that they can get the SCVs with the Planetary. Now, the SCVs run very far away, so Scarlett, unfortunately, did not have enough Banelings to kill the Planetary, and that does mean the SCVs will be able to go back and mine. So, nice hold there by INnoVation while he clears out a base. I think he definitely made the best of a bad situation from having that army caught off guard in the northwest.
Yeah, definitely. He does take out a base, delays a bit of her mining. And more importantly, he's creating a large indentation in her creep there, which gives him at least a little bit of play on the map. Up to 21 Mutalisks with +2 is Scarlett. She's down 2 upgrades right now. This could be a nasty time for her to fight.
Yeah, pulling the Marines back behind those Marauders, and the Thor, the splash damage is disgusting. Oh my god.